Hello guys. So there's a lot of controversy over America and Israel attacking Iran, so I wanted to create this video to put things into context that is being lost amongst the media and the general public. Specifically, I want to focus on the Iranian people themselves and what they think of this conflict. So I'm mainly going to let them talk and mainly just add some commentary. These first two videos were taken before the war started, are an Iranian woman living in the West and reporting back from her family living in Iran. And she paints a very grim picture of the situation of Iran. And again, these videos are before the America and Israel attack on Iran.
Yesterday was 40 days since the massacres in Iran, and I want to give you an update based on direct conversations I've had this week so that you can understand the mental and emotional state of the people inside the country. Last night, I was in a mom's group chat debating whether to send my son to swim lessons and coordinating schedules. What a privilege. My cousin told me that in her mom group chats in Iran, they're debating whether to send their kids to school at all because they're afraid they might not come home. Many families have kept their children home since the massacres in early January. My cousin told me that during the Women Life Freedom protest a few years ago, chemical gases were released in girls' schools to intimidate them for pushing back and not wearing the hijab. These are middle and high school girls. Right now, parents are afraid that if war does break out, schools could become targets or scapegoats. She says most of us are sending our kids to school now because we have no other choice. It's not good for their mental health to be kept home all day. What else can we do? While our group chats with friends are about the latest episode of reality television, there's talk about which friend was detained, which cousin is missing, which family member was killed. One family searched hospitals and morgues for weeks for their daughter. They thought she might have been detained, only to be notified through forensic identification. The hospital called them after they ran DNA tests on 50 female bodies whose faces were unrecognizable from gunshot wounds. My cousin told me that homes are still being raided. Regime forces are going around viewing security footage and videos identifying people from them and making arrests. She told me there's a visible wave of depression in the streets. To khiyabuna afsordagi moj mizane, she said. And then she said something that really broke me. She said people feel so desperate that they pray for war. We don't care. We're willing to die and take our chances. If that means there's freedom on the other side for some of us, we're ready. We just can't live like this anymore. That's the mental state of Iranians inside Iran. It's so hard to hear your loved ones speak like this. She asked me to keep sharing and to keep amplifying. So please, please don't stop talking about Iran.
Notice how she said that the Iranian people want war. They know the cost of war. They know the civilian casualties that are going to happen with war. But they want war for a chance of hope. This reminds me of the American Revolution, when American patriots were saying, "Give me liberty or give me death." I fear too many Americans do not really understand the depth of an oppressive regime like the Islamic regime of Iran. Our forefathers were willing to face death for a chance of hope. The Iranian people know that. So this is why we need to hear from the Iranian people, not these Western media outlets. A day or two later, she made another video. And again, this was still before the war.
Thank you so much for the overwhelming response to my last update. Please don't stop talking about Iran. Please don't stop sharing. I spoke briefly with my cousin again last night, and the first thing she said to me was, spread the word. She told me Iran is in serious trouble right now, and the amount of people who have been killed is a lot. We're not even hearing the full story, and that the world needs to do something. She said executions are happening, and that the violence hasn't stopped. She said people who were arrested 10 or 15 days ago are now being reported dead in prison, and their families are just finding out. She couldn't share specific details, but she wanted the outside world to know that they need help and they have hope. She told me that there's rumors circulating that the war may be coming and that people are being told to stock up on food, but prices have become so high that families can't even afford basic groceries. I know so many of us have seen videos of dead bodies on our screens over the last several years, and we keep seeing more and more videos. People are getting shot here in the US. We cannot allow this to become normalized. We cannot go numb. A close friend of mine shared a video yesterday that really stuck with me. She said her biggest fear is that Iran disappears from the news and people continue to die in silence. The fear is real. When attention fades, accountability fades. We need all of our voices right now for humanity. The world has allowed this catastrophe to go on for far too long. I'm sharing this information for my family and for so many families in the diaspora who are asking us to not look away. Please keep paying attention. Please keep amplifying Iranian voices. Please keep putting pressure on world leaders to act now. Silence is exactly what they're counting on. And I'm going to leave you with this final message from my cousin. She told me, I love you. Be umid piruzi Iran va khoshhali adamay Iran, with the hope for a free Iran and the joy and happiness of the Iranian people.
Alright, this next video was also taken before the war. However, the video itself was published on February 28th. It is a man going to an Iranian protest, and he's asking a lot of questions to the Iranian people at the protest.
How can your country be a ruin like that right now? I tell them we picked our Mamdani, not me. A lot of people picked their Mamdani 47 years ago in Iran, which was Khamenei at that time. If you watch if you just listen to what Mamdani said in New York, it's verbatim what Khomeini said 47 years ago in the Islamist lefty committee at that time. And people got fooled because it was at the end of 70s and they just wanted to be hippies and free, and that's how it looked like at that time for Iran. So they picked their Khomeini that was supposed to just come and help people have free everything and give the oil money to
How could you say no to free everything?
Free all of that. And you watch what he says. You listen to Mamdani. Trashes are 7 feet high in New York. He just became mayor, but his priorities are to Prophet Muhammad, to Hijrah. He brought Medina, all of these 1400 years ago. What happened with their prophet? He just brought it to New York. That terrifies me.
The revolution happened because of the influence of communist parties combined with the Islamic ideology.
Are you able to touch on that a little bit? Because I'm very curious. I think a lot of people hear that and they're kind of wondering, is this a similar thing that we see across the West today? Is this a similar thing that we see in places in the United States today, or is it not?
It is actually very similar, and that's why I keep telling everyone, like a broken record these days, if Iran will be free, Iran will save the world, because what happened over the past few weeks, this is a great example of what's happening in the left wings. They have been silent for almost a month. They are saying nothing about it. We know this is about the humanity. This is not about the ideology, and they have been quiet about it. They don't want to say anything because it doesn't fit in their ideology business.
So a lot of the protesters in Iran are Gen Z, I would imagine. They're a bunch of younger protesters that are being killed. I guess what's the driving force for you being out here right now? You're with your family today?
Right, yes, I am. So, as you said, a lot of the Gen Z are coming out in Iran and amongst diaspora. And when you see the faces of, again, 17-year-olds like myself, 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 3-year-olds, it's just ridiculous. So I feel like, as a 17-year-old Iranian American, it's my moral obligation to come out for these kids who are otherwise being silenced into submission or beaten or raped or tortured, and it's despicable. It's unbelievable. So again, as somebody who is able to come out and express my freedom of speech, which is something that they're not even able to do, which is our natural rights as human beings should be freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and these kids aren't even able to do that. So again, I do feel like it is my duty to come out for them.
I feel like we have our entire country that's been silenced, and people have been massacred, kids have been massacred. So our priorities are these days with the people of Iran, and we're just trying to echo their voice. We're not trying to take any sides, although Iran is, the majority of Iran, they just want these people out. They just want to have a free country. Everybody, every single person here, we're just so tired of people not seeing our kids dying in the streets and keep saying Palestine, Palestine, Gaza, all the lives are the same. And remember, we said we don't negotiate with terrorists.
How do you think the Trump administration has done handling this compared to other presidents, I guess, in your lifetime? And then what do you want to see from the Trump administration, I guess, is my question.
I think so far he's done a great job, especially at the beginning with backing the protesters and saying help is on the way. I think that was a big encouragement for a lot of people inside Iran. I think something that Republicans uniquely do really well in this country is understanding the tyranny of Islamist Nazis and not thinking of it as like a culture, because slaughtering people is not a culture. This is extreme Islam. This is literally like Holocaust and Nazi happening in front of our eyes. And I think Republicans do a great job in general understanding that.
Donald Trump has been fantastic. I want him to I want him to keep the promises he made. You know, a lot of people in Iran love him because who he has been in the world, and I want
Bullying the Iranian regime is popular with them, huh?
Yeah, that's part of it. The other part of it is he speaks their language. You know what I'm saying? The language of the people. Also, he talks to the mullahs, the Iranian regime, like the way they understand him. They're scared of him.
Tell me how confident you are in the Trump administration. Are you a Trump supporter or no?
To be honest, I was not.
Okay.
I was not, Mr. President.
And how's he done so far with this? And how do you feel like he's going to do?
I feel that he is the man of his word based on his resume and what I saw. So I'm expecting and I think that he will do and take some actions that will be meaningful.
We need help from America. Whatever opinion that you have about Trump, about the fascist regime or whatever that you have here, okay, I don't care. I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not against Trump. I don't care. I'm living here. I'm a citizen. I'm paying my taxes. I'm doing the best I can. I'm with my family. But in Iran, right now, people need America's help, and Trump is the administrator of America.
You know, there are issues all over the world right now.
Yes.
Why should the United States get involved in this specifically? Why do you think?
Because this current government is the biggest supporter of the terrorism, and everybody knows that. All of these oil that goes, God knows where the money goes. It just goes out to support the other people who are just increasing the terrorism all around the world. So this would, as they said, would be the head of the snake.
Actually, that's the symbol of terrorism, because Iran is really sourcing all this terrorism in the area in Middle East. Unfortunately, ISIS, Hamas, Hezbollah, and if they can really get over them, the whole issue is gonna be gone in the Middle East, and I believe that Middle East is gonna be peaceful again. No threat for Middle East. So that's what I meant. So everyone, it's not just a matter that is important for Iran, it's important for the whole Middle East.
All this happening right now in Middle East is because of the government of Iran. October 7th was the result of the strategy of the government of Iran and the stupid leader of Iran. All this can be, like the whole Middle East can be a very peaceful environment and very peaceful space for the whole world without this government. Any terrorist, anything that happens in Middle East, there is a cause, and the root of it is this government and the leader of Iran. And definitely for the US people, for all this money that US is spending in the Middle East to protect US and US friends benefits, they don't need to do that. If Iran and people of nation can take over the government, they are going to be the closest friend of US nation and Israeli people.
The Crown Prince is ready to go. He's on standby. We're just counting on President Trump's word. He said he's locked and ready to go. He has a master plan. We're just waiting for execution. He's ready.
How confident in the Trump administration do you feel that they're going to make a move like that? I mean, there's talks of a deal, there's talks of regime change. How confident are you guys in the Trump administration?
President Trump is always a man of his word. Sooner or later, he will pull through.
The sooner they go, the more peace we have in the world. So
you guys are looking, you guys saw what happened to Maduro in Venezuela. You guys want us to yoink their leader as well. Just, we'll take that.
Sure, for sure, absolutely.
I'm very much a pacifist, but you're going to see a lot of different opinions here.
Okay.
So
what's the pacifist position on this?
I feel like we need international help.
Okay.
I personally don't love the idea of it being bombed, but at this point, it's not about those of us who are outside of the country and what we want. We have to listen to the voice of the Iranian people, and that is what they have said. They've said
they say
they're
bring
like,
the bombs.
we're dying already.
Okay.
We might as well take them out with us.
My man, your message to President Trump.
Please help Iran.
Your message to President Trump?
Just help. We're waiting for help.
We just want him to help. Helping the Iranians is to help the Western values. And this is unique about the Iranian people. So, Mr. Trump, help us, help yourself.
A quick message to President Trump?
Yeah, actually, he promised the people of Iran he will support. I used to be a Democrat. I stood by you guys because you promised us liberty, justice, diversity. This is not diversity. Your silence is complicit. Democrats, wake the damn up. This is not okay. Iranian people right now, they're in prison. They're in prison. They're in complete digital blackout. How can you be silent?
All right, so the people of Iran are clearly asking for aid. They're desperate for help. One of the women in that clip called it the tyranny of Islam, and she called them Nazis, and that Republicans understand that. Now that's something that hit me, because Democrats have been calling me a Nazi literally since I was about 12 years old. Like, my earliest memory of being called a Nazi, I was about 12 years old. And they called me a Nazi because I'm white, because I'm a Christian, because I'm proud to be an American, because I have conservative views. A 12-year-old being called a Nazi because of his political views, his religion, and his ethnicity. So this Iranian says that this Islamic regime of Iran is the true Nazis, and that Republicans understand that and Democrats don't. That resonates with me. This being called a Nazi is something that I also complained about in this video after Charlie Kirk's assassination. The justification that many liberals gave for his assassination. No, this is the actual Holocaust of our day. These are the actual Nazis. We have great confidence that tens of thousands of Iranian people have been slain by the Ayatollah in the last couple months. Tens of thousands in a couple months. Some estimates are suggesting as high as 200,000. We don't know. They shut off the internet so that this stuff couldn't get out. Well, now it's all going to get out. So, now that America and Israel have answered the call, let's see what Iranian people have to say about it. The first two commentators are people that I've been following for the last couple months as they've been begging for aid for Iran. Let's hear from Goldie Gamari and Yemeni.
Iranian here, with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
If you're not Iranian, you will hear a ton of misinformation about how Israel and America just attacked Iran. If you're a leftist, you may want to lecture us Iranians. However, what I say to you is take a big breath before you lecture us, because millions of Iranians around the world are literally celebrating, dancing in the streets right now. Because they remember the funerals, they remember the massacres, they remember the prisons, and they also have family that's still missing. To everyone that's celebrating, please have a little sensitivity too. There are people in Israel in bomb shelters as I make this video. There are families in Iran who are still grieving or looking for their family. That said, this is a big day. Freedom is coming very soon for Iranians. You know, Israelis and Iranians are not enemies. The IRGC was the enemy, not the actual people. As an Iranian Jewish man born in the United States, in Atlanta, Georgia, I grew up with two histories in my heart. Ancient Persia and Israel were friends long before any of this social media, long before Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Mamdani did their Qatari terrorist propaganda trash. And today I want to say something very clear to you. Thank you, Benjamin Netanyahu. Thank you to the brave soldiers in the Israel Defense Forces for never giving up on the thought that the Iranian people are not your enemy. And thank you to President Donald Trump for standing with unarmed Iranians when they were protesting for their freedom. Millions of Iranians don't chant death to Israel. They ask for freedom. They ask for an ordinary life. They ask for friendship with the free world. One day, and I believe this with everything in me, Tehran, Jerusalem, and Washington won't be in the headlines about any other war. You will look at headlines about trade, technology, tourism, families visiting each other from Tehran to Tel Aviv to Washington. It's no longer a fantasy. We're very close because Persia once saved the Jewish people, and Jewish doctors, scientists, and entrepreneurs have helped build the modern world. We are not natural enemies. We are natural allies. And when that wall finally falls in occupied Iran, that handshake between Israelis and Iranians will shock the world. Not because it's impossible, but because it was always meant to be. If you believe in friendship is stronger than their terrorist propaganda trash, share this and let's build a beautiful future now.
I love Yemeni's hope and optimism for unity and peace between Israel, America, and the future Iran. I agree. I believe that peace, that unity is possible, and it's going to be powerful. We are changing the world right now. I will make this request to the future America, future Israel, and future Iran. We need to stay vigilant. We need to stay vigilant to help other oppressed civilizations who want our aid. This is something that is getting extremely lost in all of this. This is being compared to Bush's war on terror. There is a very big difference between this and the war on terror. Afghanistan and Iraq did not want to be liberated. So what we did there, we just made the situation worse. But Iran does want to be liberated. And this is the difference we need to pay attention to. We need to recognize when the time is to aid people wanting to break the chains and shackles holding them down, and when the people just don't want that. If people want to live in oppression, what can we do to help? The people need to want this. I think that this is something that would be very important in history. Although the Iranian people have suffered so much as we waited so long to aid them, that waiting is going to stay in the cultural memory. They're going to tell their children and their grandchildren what freedom and liberty costs them. And they're going to tell their children and their grandchildren, don't lose it. No matter what you do not lose what we bled for. Anyway, let's get back to the voices of the Iranians and how the everyday Iranian reacts to this.
I am watching as things unfold, and I still can't believe this has happened, but I am so happy for the people of Iran who are currently celebrating in the streets as we speak. They deserve this more than ever. And all those thousands of protesters who were killed by the regime forces, who were called to be killed by this evil supreme leader, their blood will not be in vain. Long live Iran, long live the people of Iran. Freedom is near.
I just want to send this message to President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. On behalf of all Iranians all over the world, we thank you. We knew we could trust you both. We knew you're two world leaders that once you say you'll do something, people can rely on you. I know it took a lot for you guys to start this war, but please don't stop. Finish the job. Get rid of IRGC for good. Get rid of all these bad people who have killed hundreds of thousands of Iranians and bring freedom, life, and liberty to people of Iran. There are 80 million people in Iran waiting for you guys to finish the job for them. And I guarantee you, very soon, people of Iran are going to come out in the streets and start helping you as your troops. Thanks again, as an Iranian American. Thank you, President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Thank you so much. You two rock, and may God bless you both and your families, and may God bless America, Israel, and Iran. Thank you again. We can't wait to watch the rest of the story, which will be looking at IRGC fleeing from Iran or being hung by the people from every single tree in Iran.
Thank you, Israel. Thank you, USA, for helping us out. We will never forget it. Never. They're going to tell you Israel and USA are invading Iran. They're not. They answered to Iranians' people's call for help. And yes, we love Israel, we love USA, and that's just the way it is. Take it or leave it.
47 years. 47 years of oppression, 47 years of grief, 47 years of silencing dissent, 47 years of a diaspora who can't go home, 47 years of forced hijab, 47 years of artists censored, 47 years of rape and torture, 47 years of families separated, of political prisoners, of executions, 47 years of mothers grieving over graves, 47 years of destroying our Iranian culture and heritage, 47 years of joy taken away. Today is historic for Iranians. I never thought I would see a moment like this in my lifetime. time. Today, hope feels louder than fear. Today is the beginning of, hopefully, a new future for the people of Iran, one that is built on dignity, freedom, peace, and economic prosperity. The fight is far from over. There is so much work ahead, but today, we allow ourselves to feel something many of us never thought was possibility. Today, let us bask in the joy of hope and release 47 years of collective trauma and grief. To my family in Iran, I love you, stay strong. To the people of Iran, your resilience has never gone unnoticed. And to my grandmother, who was imprisoned for 4 years and raped in 1980 by the regime for being an artist, I wish you were here to witness this moment. Payende Iran, long live Iran.
Iranian here. I'm watching a lot of people suddenly feign a lot of outrage over the Israel and US strikes on regime sites in Iran. Question, where were you when the regime slaughtered tens of thousands of Iranians in a matter of days? Where were you? Where were you when the internet was shut down in Iran and Iranians were arrested, tortured, forced into confessions, and thrown in the streets in body bags? Where were you? You were silent. So spare us this performance of yours. We are celebrating these strikes. We're celebrating while praying harder than ever that no innocent Iranian is harmed. And you're too privileged to have any idea of what that emotional split even feels like. You take for granted your right to criticize your government every day, freely, while Iranians are bleeding, dying for that same right. So if you can't celebrate for us, if you can't be happy for us, if your hatred of Trump and America and Israel is louder than your concern for Iranian lives and Iranian freedom, then at least have a shred of enough decency to know when to shut the f*** up, take a seat, and stop speaking over Iranians.
I don't know what conspiracy channel or commentator some of you are watching right now, but every liberal, progressive Iranian American that I know who campaigned against Trump is celebrating these strikes right now. For years, I've watched politics divide people on issues like this, so let's just clear this one up. I was at the protests, every single one, and every Iranian there was begging for intervention. To be against what's happening right now is to be pro-rape, pro-torture, and pro-murder, because that's what this regime has done to its own people. They massacred tens of thousands of protesters just in the past few weeks. Think about it this way. If a man you despised showed up to stop the monster who slaughtered your entire family, would you really grab his arm and say, "Not you"? That's what some of you are doing right now. So yes, you can hate Trump's immigration policies. You can despise ICE, fine. But don't make Iran a sides thing. Iranians wanted this. This is our only chance, maybe for generations, to take our country back. So step aside, please.
Listen to me. If a regime can kill 25,000 of its own people in 2 days, India reported 300,000 people, rip out organs, gas people, and send the families a bill for the bullets, what do you think it'll do to America when it already chants death to America every other Friday? This is for all Americans. Please listen to me. More Americans think that this Iranian genocide is a Middle East problem, but that assumption is about to cost us a lot more than we think. I was born in a modern, secular, beautiful Iran. I watched it flip almost overnight into a religious police state. One day people were living normal lives. The next day there were morality patrols, propaganda everywhere, and a government willing to crush anyone who stepped out of line. Now I live in the US, the country that raised me. And what scares me is that I recognize some familiar patterns, the polarization, the propaganda bubbles, the slow way people get used to less freedom and more control. That's why I feel a responsibility to speak up. So let me explain this clearly. This is not just about Iran, and it's not just about the Middle East. Right now, the Islamic Republic is openly aligned with China and Russia. It sends drones and missiles to Russia. It funds proxy groups. It threatens America's allies and U.S. interests. If this regime stays in power, that alliance grows stronger. If it falls, that alliance weakens. That directly affects American security. And here's the part people don't want to face. As this regime gets closer to collapse, it becomes more desperate. That's when it's most likely to rush towards nuclear weapons, not for peace, but for leverage and protection. A nuclear Iran doesn't bring stability. It means a permanent state of anxiety, higher prices, more military spending, and less room to focus on life at home. Now let's talk about money, because this hits home. Today, Iran sells its oils at massive discounts to China. China benefits, Americans don't. This regime thrives on instability. Every escalation drives up energy prices, shipping costs, and insurance rates. That shows up at the gas pump and the cost of everyday goods. A different Iran means oil sold openly, more stable markets, and Western companies participating instead of being locked out. And one more thing, as long as this regime exists, the U.S. keeps spending billions defending Israel and managing nonstop regional threats. That cost doesn't disappear, it grows. So this isn't about repeating past mistakes or launching open-ended wars. It's about recognizing a real threat early and not pretending it'll stay contained. This isn't about saving the Middle East. It's about American security, American money, and American stability. I already watched one country I love get destroyed from the inside out. I don't want to watch that happen here.
Alright, so this next video has gotten some backlash for it being an Ashkenazi Jew pretending to be an Iranian, and that is clearly not the situation in this video. Yes, the man with the camera is an Ashkenazi Jew, but his party is a mixed group of Jews and Iranians. You can tell the woman right behind him is Iranian. She's a little bit darker of a complexion, as Iranians are. A couple of the other people, you can clearly hear a Jewish accent and an Iranian accent. Just because this guy with the camera is a Jew doesn't mean that the video is invalid.
I am here with the group of real Iranians, the Iranians everybody needs to listen to. We are celebrating the death of Khamenei. Long live Iran. Death to the... Wow, I'm crying. It's a huge day. Since 1979, the Islamic...
Imagine this year, but never thought it's going to happen, actually.
And it happened now.
It happened now.
To be...
The most beautiful day ever, and it's so amazing.
You're going to give us water technology, we're going to give you oil for free.
Amen.
Yes, you want, man.
This will be the future of a peace in the Middle East and peace in the world. To be with all of my Persian sisters and brothers is so huge.
We'll be able to visit
Amen.
Israel.
We'll visit Tehran. Back to the direct flight, Tehran, Tel Aviv.
I hope to hit the slopes later this year. Wallet willing. Maybe the 7,000 that I'm supposedly getting could help with that. However, could also probably get me a new desk chair. But anyway, the Iranian people are not just making videos in the privacy of their houses. They've also taken to the streets in mass protests celebrating Trump and Netanyahu. Now, frankly, I'm not sure if I would call it a protest. It's more of a celebratory march than anything. Let's watch them.
Moments after this crowd learned about the death of Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, they erupted in cheers. There were tears of joy. There were people hugging each other, saying that this is the very moment they've been waiting for 47 years. We're shown photos of the people that were allegedly killed by the regime. There were people here holding those photos and saying that this day is for them. One name that has come out time and again out of people's mouths here in Los Angeles is Reza Pahlavi. He is the son of the Shah, what they call the Crown Prince of Iran. These people here want to see Pahlavi back to Iran to take power and lead a temporary government and then hold a referendum in Iran for how it wants to move forward. They see this as a very important, a pivotal moment for Iran, hence the celebration. Now, there is a variety of opinions here. Some people calling for making Iran great again. Some people with photos of Pahlavi in these protests. Some of it, though, are people who just say they are thankful for President Trump for leading these strikes in Iran, saying that this is what Iran needed for a change, for a new revolution in Iran.
Everybody is saying this is the only time in the last 47 years where we actually have an opportunity to overthrow the Iranian government.
Now we're seeing a lot of Trump flags, President Trump being thanked by name here in this crowd, but some people are even Democratic voters who are praising the president, saying that they were disappointed with how Democrats had handled the relations with Iran in the past, and that this is the one opportunity that this generation will get for a regime change.
President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, thank you so much for doing what you've done. We knew that you would do it. There was no doubt you'll get it done. It was a matter of when, not if. Look at this celebration of all Iranians all over the world, celebrating your success. And I want to thank all of our troops from United States and Israel to put your life in danger to free 80 million Iranians. Thank you so much. You're all in our prayer. You're all in our thoughts. You're all in our prayers. And I think that you go there and come back safely at home. May God bless America. May God bless Iran. May God bless all of our troops. And I wish health, happiness, success for all of you, and hope we can bring life, liberty, and freedom to all the Iranian people.
Please give everyone my love and prayers. And please tell them I am a man of my word. And I told the crowd that day President Trump warned the regime not to kill their citizens and that grave consequence would occur and if they did. So President Trump is a man of his word. Please use the word intrepid. به من یاد میده چه کلمه‌ای استفاده کنم برای President Trump. Intrepid. This means in the dictionary fearless, courageous, brave, strong. That's what Donald Trump is, and that's what America's policy of peace through strength looks like in action. I thank Iranian people. Thank you.
پهلوی برمیگرده. موشلی کشته شد.
یه روز بزرگ و داره ما ملت کبیری
خودم اکبر رو خفش کردم با هم طعم خونش دارگ رو کشیدیم.
Iran today is free again. This is what Iranian wants. Freedom. They want to have a choice. They want to have a voice to present themselves. We want to tell the world that we are not Islamic Republic. We are Iranian. We are friends of the West, the East, the whole world.
Dozens marched from the World War I memorial to Lafayette Square, just steps from the White House. They carried flags, held signs thanking the president and chanting, as you can hear, some of them chanted USA, USA, and change the regime. Some rally goers told us they were hearing reports that Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei, was killed in the strikes launched by the U.S. and Israel. Those claims also reference from President Donald Trump and Israeli officials. We also spoke with one Iranian-American woman who says she's lived here since 2016 and says her family suffered under the current regime.
No freedom. Like we had nothing to say. They didn't even let us live like a basic human right. They didn't let us have that. And now I'm here to say thank you, Trump.
Now, organizers tell me this may be the beginning of just a series of events like these. Already another rally is set for next Saturday. And if tonight is any indication, we could be seeing some in the next coming days.
All right, apparently this next video is an American flag that the Islamic regime put on the floor of a college university, expecting that college students to just walk all over the American flag. But they actually Out of respect and appreciation for what America did, they actually started walking around the flag and were very diligent not to step on it. Now, I will be honest, I'm not sure that this video is actually legit. It does not look AI. However, the audio that I've muted is an AI voiceover, so I'm skeptical on this video. Regardless, the Iranian people very much love America and Israel right now. They are very grateful. Here's a video of some teenagers in Iran playing basketball when they see the smoke, and they start celebrating and literally saying, "I love Trump." For these next two videos of Iranians literally dancing, I don't want to get into some copyright issues, so I'm going to replace the audio with some very similar drums to the YMCA. Alright, this is a video of a mob in Iran tearing down a monument to Khamenei. Now, the video calls it a statue, but that doesn't look like a statue to me, so I'm calling it a monument. But listen to the passion and excitement in the crowd, specifically the person recording. Obviously there are just so many videos out there, and even as I'm getting these videos, I'm just constantly seeing more and more videos. This next video is actually going to be a Pakistani apostate of Islam who fled to Australia, Sultan. Now, his video is about 15 minutes long, so I'll include it in the description below, but I'm just going to do a few clips of it.
All right, folks, this is Sultan, and I'm sure by now all of you would have heard the good news. The mad tyrant, one of the worst tyrants of our time, the tyrant who would kill tens of thousands of his own people just to cling on to power. In the end, he died like a dog, like his fellow comrades, Hassan Nasrallah. He made the mistake of thinking that he can hide in his bunker. But no bunker is out of the reach of Israeli intelligence and American missile. This is why I am an interventionist. I am an interventionist because the greatest military power on the face of this planet has to be used for the good of the world. And today, President Trump has employed the world's greatest military machine for the good of the world. But the people of Iran are dancing and smiling. This is the day we waited for a very long time. I've been covering the protests in Iran since 2019. Every time protests erupted, I heard from the people of Iran only one thing, that they may be able to subdue us this time, but the days of this regime are numbered. But we just didn't know when that day will come. I guess it's the 28th of February or the 1st of March. I don't know exactly when did he die because I'm in Australia. I'm a day ahead. But look at this. Look how the people of Iran are dancing and celebrating. Let me share some videos with you. Iranian women are dancing in the streets without their head coverings. Look at this. I cried when I saw that brutal crackdown on the people of Iran. I still have those videos where bodies were piling up. They killed their own people. Well, actually, they didn't see them as their own. As Marco Rubio said, that there is no other country that has a bigger divide between the people and its ruling elite, and that's Iran. Iran is free. That rat is dead. Do you want to see raw emotion? Look at this. This woman has just found out that Ali Khamenei is dead. Look at this. These are raw emotions, guys. These people felt helpless for so long. Look at this. These are tears of joy. I don't think there's any other people who wanted liberty and freedom from their own government this much. Look, I don't want to take away anything from the people of Venezuela. They were also celebrating. But this is next level. Look at this. This is Iran. This is unignorable. You cannot ignore this. You cannot spin this. That, oh, the poor people of Iran, look, they are being victimized by America and Israel. No, the people of Iran begged America and Israel to intervene. Look how happy these women are. This was one of the first videos that came out. And at that time, the belief was that this was Khamenei's residence. So look at the happiness in the voices of the women filming this. Happy. Anyway, this is a great day in the history of humanity. The people of Iran have suffered a lot. My heart goes out to them, but in the end, they won. And I am just hoping over the next few days, we are going to hear news of mass defections and the Shah of Iran will go back and take control and he will be the king. And then Iran will begin its journey towards democracy and being a valuable ally of the international community, especially the West. And now we're going to hear the chants of long live Israel, long live America on the streets of Tehran. This is a great day for Iran. This is a great day for the people of Iran. This is a great day for all freedom-loving people of the world.
That woman basically crying and gripping the Persian flag. You know, I have another request for future Israel, future Iran, and whatever other future powers might be out there. If America continues down its path of electing Mamdanis, then it's only a matter of time before America becomes Iran 2.0. If I should be able to afford to become of the American diaspora in that season, then I beg to God that I live long enough to experience what she is experiencing right now. That there will be some nation out there, like Israel, like the future Iran, who will be able to aid us Americans in our liberation from these Islamic communists, terrorists. But may that day never come. Let us instead choose to save America before it's too late. And that leads us then into our final section. Let's hear some voices from some American media commentators that I've been following. This clip from Jeffrey Mead is a perfect articulation of the things I'm feeling.
Okay, so I see a bunch of people. No new wars with Iran. You know, people didn't vote for us to go to war. This is the work of the Jews. I'm going to explain to you how I feel about this currently. I'm going to give you a story first to kind of illustrate how I feel. Let's imagine you see a man walking down the street, and a dad comes up to this man frantically and says, have you seen a girl with this description? 12-year-old girl, she's missing, it's my daughter, I can't find her. The man says, no, sorry, I haven't. And then, you know, they keep walking. The dad keeps looking, the man keeps walking. Then 7 minutes later, as the man's walking, he starts walking across that girl. Like he sees her in front of him. Then a man appears behind her randomly, grabs her, and she starts fighting with that man. Nobody else is around. So the man that's walking sees that, sees that she's in trouble, sees that she might be taken, and says, you know what, it's not worth that risk. I've got kids, I got a family, I got things to do. This isn't my problem. I'm going to let that girl be taken, and whatever happens, happens. I think that would not sit right with a lot of Americans. I think a lot of people would be like, what do you mean you're just going to sit there and watch that girl get taken? All right, Jeffrey, well, how does this correlate to Iran? The Iranian regime is a theocratic, oppressive, dictatorial regime. They just slaughtered likely recently this year, slaughtered tens of thousands of their civilians in cold blood for protesting against them. They do not tolerate dissent. They care more about funding terrorism and supporting their proxies than they do about the success of their own people. They chant death to America. For example, Hamas, October 7th, they are supported by Iran. Iran funds them and works with them and supports them. One of the guys on October 7th, I kid you not, I've seen the video myself, was trying to behead a man with a gardening tool, a hoe. He was repeatedly hitting him in the neck over and over and over again, trying to behead the man with a gardening tool. These are the type of individuals that the Iranian regime supports. Now, America, in my story, is the man who was walking down the street. The Iranian people are the little girl that the man decides to walk by because it's not worth anything to him. It's too risky. The man has the capability to help, but he just decides not to. These people are being oppressed by a regime that hates us, that wants to spread terrorism around the world. So I personally don't feel bad helping these people. Now, if I'm going to be completely fair, we're going to have to wait and see how all of this plays out. But I do like that Trump is honoring his word because he told those people help is on the way. And it wasn't sitting right with me that I wasn't seeing him follow through with that. It seems like a lot of people want to wait until Iran is a very serious problem and then act. By then it could be too late. For example, if you figure out you have cancer, do you want to wait till you're about to die when you have cancer? Then say, okay, let's do something now. Or do you want to snuff it out before it ever gets that bad? You want to stop it from ever getting that bad. So they chant death to America. They want to expand terrorism. They oppress and kill their own people. They're friendly with our adversaries. They currently fund terrorist organizations. I don't know why we should wait until they're a much bigger problem. Personally, I'm glad to see our country help the Iranian people. I think if that regime is gone, it will be better for the world as a whole. So I'm currently compiling a bunch of information about what's happening right now with the strikes in Iran. And later today, I plan to drop a long-form article kind of explaining my thoughts, explaining what's happening, and kind of trying to get a better picture for what's actually happening because there's so much news everywhere. So if you want that update, the link to that is in my profile. Just click that link, drop your email in, and then when I send that out later today, you'll get it. And it'll come from NLDR Media. That's like my news arm. So Naldor Media. It won't say my name. So that's it for now. I hope to see you there.
Yeah, there's not an analogy that he said that I would not 100% agree with. All right, and then let's hear from the moderate case.
So these are Iranians celebrating and dancing in the streets after it was announced that Israel and America had begun striking the Iranian or Islamic regime. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people in America talk about how bad America is, but this is what most of the people in Iran wanted. And we had seen that with the protest for the past 2 months. And you can find dozens of other videos just like that on social media right now. The people of Iran are celebrating. They're thankful to America, thankful to Israel, thankful to President Donald Trump for getting rid or attempting to get rid of the Islamic regime. You see, Trump promised the people of Iran weeks and weeks ago to keep protesting. That help was on the way. And for a long time, it seemed like, well, what are we negotiating? The negotiations are stalling, yada, yada, yada. Well, it's now been announced that this actual plan, a joint U.S.-Israeli operation, had been being planned months in advance. This was planned months ago, and the date of the strike was announced weeks ago. So as people were kind of getting anxious and also getting riled up, but also at the same time saying, well, what are we negotiating? Like, this negotiation process is going nowhere. What are we waiting for? What America and Israel were waiting for was the exact right time to strike. This was their plan all along. The Islamic regime is a brutal, oppressive, and repressive regime. They slaughtered tens of thousands of their own people simply for protesting, shooting them in the face, going into hospitals, raiding hospitals, to kill people who are still attached to medical equipment. You can go find the videos. We saw them. I posted them. I talked about it for weeks. And the loudest critics of the US and Israeli action, military action in Iran right now, they never said a word about what the Islamic regime was doing. They never spoke out one time for the people of Iran, the Iranian people who don't want that regime leading them. Now, everything that's going on with Iran right now is extremely complex. Every country in the Gulf has been hit by a ballistic missile except for Oman. The UAE has now joined forces with Israel and the United States. The UAE has said that Iran fired a ballistic missile that violates their sovereignty and that they have a right to respond. And I promise you guys that within the next 48 hours, almost every country in the region that is involved in this is going to turn on Iran. Iran's currently doing everything they can. They're throwing almost everything they have at everyone. Saudi Arabia, Jordan, UAE, Kuwait, like all of these places, Iran is attacking them. All of this while America and Israel are dropping bombs nonstop. It's being reported, and it has been confirmed, that multiple leaders within the Iranian government and the IRGC have been assassinated. They have been taken out. It's also being reported that Israel, at least what Israel has told Axios, or what Axios has reported, is that Israel is targeting Khamenei, that they have launched strikes and assassination attempts on the top leaders of the Islamic regime. So again, what started as a preemptive strike by Israel has now turned in a matter of hours into a full-blown regional war. And the Islamic regime of Iran is crumbling. They have nothing left.
All right, lastly, I want to leave you guys with a public speech from the daughter of the crowned Shah of Iran. Although the crowned monarch of the country, he has been in running because of the Islamic regime ever since the 70s. And the Iranian people are cheering for him to come back. This is the daughter of the man that the Iranian people want to liberate them, who they want to lead them into a potentially bright and prosperous future. Thanks for watching. God bless. God bless America. God bless Israel. And God bless the future Iran.
We are here today united to stand behind our brothers and sisters in Iran. This is not just a protest. This is the declaration of a nation reclaiming itself. The Iranian people have made it clear. This is not a call for reform. Our brothers and sisters did not die fighting for a better nuclear deal. This is a rejection of 47 years of occupation, terror, and imposed rule. They have chosen freedom. They have named their future. They have united behind my father to guide them there. My father is at the Munich Security Conference right now, making the case for Iran's freedom at the highest levels of international policy. And we are here in the streets to make sure the world knows we trust him to protect the interests and the freedom of the Iranian people. Speak to you today not just as his daughter, but as a daughter of Iran, one who has witnessed what this nation has endured. To those around the world who hesitate to speak up, I ask, if this were happening in your country, if you were not safe in your own home, if your children were being hunted in the streets, if your hospitals were raided, if your doctors were executed for doing their jobs, if your markets were set ablaze, if your internet were cut so the world could not see, if the single biggest threat to you was the very government meant to protect you, would you not demand action? The Iranian people deserve no less. That is why today we are putting clear demands in front of every democratic government in the world. Dismantle the regime's machinery of repression by taking decisive action against the IRGC and its command and control infrastructure. Cut off the regime's financial lifelines, freeze their assets worldwide, and dismantle the sanction evasion networks they use to finance terror. Keep Iran connected by ensuring uninterrupted internet access so the world can see the truth and Iranians can organize and survive. The world also needs to end the diplomatic fiction. Expel the regime's so-called diplomats, prosecute its criminals, and designate the IRGC as a terrorist organization in every nation that has not yet done so. Demand the release of all political prisoners immediately. And finally, prepare to recognize a legitimate transitional government led by my father to lead Iran towards democracy. I want to speak now to the women of Iran who were told for decades they were less than human and only grew stronger. You inspire us all, and you have already changed history. To the parents who buried their children, your sacrifice will never be forgotten. And to the young people who have abandoned their fear of death in pursuit of a life worth living, your courage is the foundation of the nation Iran will become. And to all the Iranian people inside our homeland, hearing us through every barrier, every blackout, every act of repression. Know this: we stand here today to show you you are not alone, to make sure your voices are heard, and to fight for the future you deserve. Iran will be free. We will see to it together.